Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. After marrying Sister Zhou, I am unmatched and a scientist is exposed. Ye Chen traveled to a parallel world and became the youngest professor at the age of 24. One day, Ye Chen was giving a lecture at Magic City University when Zhou Shufen, a popular female anchor, suddenly arrived. As everyone was puzzled, Zhou Shuyi blushed and looked at Ye Chen, saying, Ye Chen, can you accompany me to have a pregnancy test? Ye Chen. What? What? While Ye Chen was confused, he activated the divine level selection system. Option 1. Refuse Zhou Shuyi, reward. 100,000 cash. Option 2. Promise Zhou Shuyi, reward. Magic City Tang Chen first class house. Ye Chen finally realized that Zhou Shufen's pregnancy was his masterpiece. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1 Sister Zhou. Ye Chen, I seem to be pregnant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mordo University. In a classroom. Ye Chen stood on the podium, looking at the students with no available seats in front of him, and slowly said, I have already given an example of the case just now. After you go back, make a PPT, and I will randomly check it. Remember, the homework for this class is about your credits and there is no opportunity to retake it. As soon as these words were spoken, the male students below immediately spoke in a mournful voice. Ah, the professor has assigned PTT homework again, it's so difficult. Who said it's not? I can't do it or I have to do it. I don't want to deduct credits. There's no way, but standing on the podium is Ye Chen, who became the youngest university professor at the age of only 24. Moreover, due to Ye Chen's handsome appearance, the Magic City school grass has not yet changed ownership. This makes many male classmates very envious. Even if you're handsome, you're still a professor. Don't worry, Professor Yi, I will definitely complete my homework well. That's right, that's right. Don't worry, Professor Yi. We must do our homework well. The female students below agreed one by one. Ye Chen looked at the students in front of him with a faint smile. He is a time traveler, Ye Chen. After crossing through, he did not awaken the system like in the novel, but his memory is much stronger than that of ordinary people, almost reaching the level of unforgettable memory. Therefore, Ye Chen has now become the youngest professor at the age of 24. After all, it's almost impossible to become a professor at the age of 24. However, Ye Chen achieved. Alright, think carefully about the rest of the time. Ye Chen said to the students, next class, I hope you all have completed the homework I assigned. Yes, Professor Yi. The students answered. Excuse me for bothering you. At this moment, a sound suddenly rang out from the classroom entrance. After hearing the sound, Ye Chen looked towards the door. Suddenly, his eyebrows furrowed, and Ye Chen felt that the person in front of him was a bit familiar, as if he had seen them somewhere before. Sleeping slot. Zhou Jie. In the classroom, someone exclaimed in surprise. It is obvious that this student knows the owner of this voice. Are you really Sister Zhou? What is Sister Zhou doing at our school? Ah, is Sister Zhou here to find Professor Yi? However, speaking of which, Sister Zhou looks a bit arrogant. Zhou Jie's full name is Zhou Shuyi, her real name is Harmonious, so she used this one, and she is a big anchor on the Do Shark live streaming platform. Those familiar with Zhou Shuyi know that she is the most skillful female anchor in the entire live streaming industry. The carefree personality has made many water enthusiasts love watching Zhou Shuyi's live broadcasts. Not only did the male classmate recognize Zhou Shuyi, but the female classmate did the same. At this moment, everyone has only one thought in their hearts. What is Zhou Shuyi doing here? As for the previous statement from the male students that they were looking for Professor Yi, the female students automatically ignored it. "Hello, may I ask if you have anything to do?" Ye Chen looked at Zhou Shuyi and asked. "I." Zhou Shuyi, who has always been carefree, felt a little uneasy at this moment. Then she looked at Ye Chen and said, "Ye Chen, can you come out with me for a while? I have something very important to talk to you about." "Find me." Ye Chen was taken aback for a moment, not realizing that the other party was looking for him. Then he nodded and followed Zhou Shuyi outside the classroom. The students who saw this scene immediately widened their eyes and looked outside with a gossipy expression. A student speculated incessantly, "Is Professor Yi in Sister Zhou? How could that be? That's Professor Yi." But then again, how could Sister Zhou come to find Professor Yi? "No, I'm too curious. I need to secretly listen." A few students sneaked up to the window. Outside the classroom, Ye Chen looked at Zhou Shuyi and asked curiously, "May I ask, what can I do for you?" After hearing this, Zhou Shuyi blushed and stared at Ye Chen's eyes, saying, "I seem to be pregnant. I'm not too sure. Can you accompany me to the hospital for a check-up?" "Pregnant? Let me accompany you to the hospital for a check-up. But what's the deal with him? Did he get Zhou Shuyi pregnant?" However, just as Ye Chen realized and spoke, a mechanical voice suddenly rang out in his mind. The divine level selection system has detected a suitable host and started binding successful, detected that the host is facing a problem, and the system automatically analyzes the current situation. Zhou Shuyi had a relationship with her host in the 35-day trench, reminder. That day was the day when you were officially promoted as a professor, and it was also Zhou Shuyi's first time. Option 1. Refuse Zhou Shuyi, reward 100,000 cash. Option 2. Promise Zhou Shuyi, reward. Magic City Tang Chen First Class House. A series of warning sounds echoed in Ye Chen's mind. 35 days ago, after Ye Chen was promoted to professor, he was pulled out by his own teacher to celebrate. After the celebration, several of Ye Chen's good friends took him to the bar. The result was that he drank too much and woke up to find himself in the hotel. Ye Chen tried to recall for a moment, relying on his ability to never forget. He finally remembered something. At least one thing is certain, Zhou Shuyi did have a relationship with him. And it seems that the other party is still pregnant. One shot into the soul. Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen in a daze and said, "Don't you want to accompany me?" After saying these words, Zhou Shuyi's face darkened. After all, she mustered up so much courage to come find Ye Chen. If Ye Chen is unwilling to accompany her, she really doesn't know what to do for a moment. Although she has a carefree personality, she is always a woman. How could it be? After Ye Chen regained his senses, he immediately said, "I'll accompany you." Although both parties had a confused relationship, it was their first time and it was very likely that they were still pregnant, so Ye Chen couldn't ignore it. Ding, congratulations to the host for making the choice. Reward Tang Chen with 1 product and 1 set. All other procedures such as property certificates have been arranged. I'll tell my students to wait for me here. Ye Chen said to Zhou Shuyi that his thoughts were no longer focused on the system. Okay. Zhou Shuyi breathed a sigh of relief in her heart. At least Ye Chen agreed to accompany her to the examination. Ye Chen nodded and then returned to the classroom. "Classmates, I have something to do now. You can study on your own in the remaining time." After finishing speaking, Ye Chen walked out of the classroom and held Zhou Shuyi's hand, saying, "Follow me. You are currently pregnant, so be careful when doing things in the future." Zhou Shuyi looked at her hand held by Ye Chen, then at Ye Chen's serious expression. She forgot to break free for a moment and let Ye Chen hold her hand. In this way, Ye Chen led Zhou Shuyi away from Magic City University. Chapter 2. Zhou Shuyi is really pregnant. Choose. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Shocking me for a whole year. Zhou Jie is actually pregnant with Professor Ye's child. After Ye Chen and Zhou Shuyi left, the entire classroom exploded. Sleeping trough. What the hell is going on? It's really fake, did you hear me wrong? How could Zhou Jie be with Professor Yi? These two people can't fight together. Yeah, what exactly happened? Impossible. That's Professor Yi. The youngest Professor Yi. Who can explain what exactly happened? Sleeping trough. Who knows what exactly happened? Wait for the news. All the students are discussing and discussing. Especially those female students, their mouths have grown one by one, unbelievable. They didn't expect that Professor Yi, who was perfect in their hearts, would have a master of famous flowers. And the other party is also the big anchor of Dosha Live, Zhou Shuyi. Most importantly, it seems that Zhou Shuyi is still pregnant. While the students were discussing, Ye Chen had already taken Zhou Shuyi to the Magic City Hospital. Quickly, Ye Chen and Zhou Shuyi had arrived at the entrance of the hospital. Slow down a bit. Ye Chen pulled Zhou Shuyi. Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen's expression and felt a warmth in her heart. She said, "Now I'm just here to check. What if I'm not pregnant?" "It's okay." Ye Chen led Zhou Shuyi and said, "Let's wait for the results of the examination." After the two entered the hospital, Ye Chen asked Zhou Shuyi to do a good job while he went to queue up to register. Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen's back and fell into contemplation. What should I do? What if the test results say I'm pregnant? He is still a university professor, and he is still such a young university professor. His future prospects are definitely far away. If I suddenly come to find him like this, will it cause him trouble? And it seems like I'm 1 year older than Ye Chen. Will Ye Chen find me too old? Also, will Ye Chen not be able to accept it? What if Ye Chen hates children? Even if Ye Chen doesn't mind, after the child is born, she will have to spend a lot of money on milk powder, postpartum care, and a series of things. Although I have earned some savings as a broadcaster over the years and can afford it, would Ye Chen say he eats a soft meal? For a moment, Sister Zhou thought a lot and even thought about the future. Miss Zhou, who was lost in thought, didn't even see that Ye Chen had already registered and returned. What's wrong? What are you thinking so engrossed in? Ye Chen looked at Zhou Shuyi and asked. After hearing the sound, Zhou Shuyi immediately came to her senses and said, "It's nothing." Although Ye Chen was puzzled, he didn't ask much. "It's already hung up, let's go." Zhou Shuyi nodded and said, "Okay." Ye Chen took Zhou Shuyi's hand and went to the obstetrics and gynecology department. Find a place to queue up. After a while, it was Zhou Shuyi's turn. I'll accompany you inside. Ye Chen stood up. Okay. Zhou Shuyi's heart warmed. If she were really pregnant, Ye Chen would also be the father of the child. In the doctor's office. Ye Chen walked in holding Zhou Shuyi's hand. Is there anything uncomfortable with your body? The doctor looked at Ye Chen with a hint of surprise in his eyes. After all, Ye Chen is a university professor, and his temperament cannot deceive anyone. As a doctor, there are too many people I have seen, and there really aren't anyone like Ye Chen. Doctor, it seems like I'm pregnant. Zhou Shuyi felt a bit embarrassed. The doctor was not surprised by the situation and asked the basic information, when did you feel like you were pregnant? Recently, my period has been delayed by half a month. Since half a month ago, I have been prone to drowsiness and feeling a bit nauseous. I can hardly eat anything. Zhou Shuyi explained her situation. The doctor nodded and said, the situation you mentioned is basically the same as when you were pregnant. So, go get an ultrasound first, and come back to me after the results are out. Thank you, doctor. Ye Chen thanked the doctor. The doctor just smiled and made the order, then let the two of them leave. After leaving the doctor's office, Ye Chen went to pay the bill first, and then brought Zhou Shuyi to the ultrasound room. There are regulations for doing B.ultrasound, you can only enter in person, and I will wait for you outside. Outside the B.ultrasound room, Ye Chen said to Zhou Shuyi, I'll wait for you outside. After all, it is not a private hospital, as large hospitals have their own regulations. Zhou Shuyi nodded and remembered the scene where Ye Chen accompanied her out of the Magic City University. A smile unconsciously appeared on her face. If someone familiar with Zhou Shuyi were to see this scene, they would definitely burst out shouting. Is this still Sister Zhou? Has Sister Zhou changed her personality? The current Zhou Shuyi and the Zhou Shuyi during the live broadcast are completely two people. It's your turn. Ye Chen looked at the big screen displaying Zhou Shuyi's name. Then I'll go in. Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen. Go ahead, I'll wait for you outside. Ye Chen smiled. Zhou Shuyi nodded and walked into the B.ultrasound room. At the moment when Zhou Shuyi entered, Ye Chen's expression became somewhat nervous. After all, this is also his first experience and he doesn't have much experience. So Ye Chen waited for a few minutes. Zhou Shuyi walked out with a B.ultrasound ticket. Then the two of them returned to the gynecology department together and found the previous doctor. The doctor looked at the report and smiled, Congratulations, Miss Zhou is indeed pregnant. Upon hearing this, Zhou Shuyi instinctively looked at Ye Chen. She frowned for fear that Ye Chen would show disgust. So. I'm going to be a dad now. Ye Chen murmured in his mouth. The doctor repeated, Yes, sir, you're going to be a father. After hearing the doctor's words, Ye Chen unconsciously smiled on his face. After seeing the smile on Ye Chen's face, Zhou Shuyi instinctively breathed a sigh of relief in her heart. It seems that Ye Chen doesn't dislike children. Because you have just become pregnant, you must be careful. The doctor instructed, take more folic acid, eat more fresh vegetables and fruits, be careful not to overwork, do not exercise vigorously, do not engage in excessive activity, do not overeat spicy and greasy foods, do not wear high heels, pay attention to your emotions, balance nutrition, rest regularly, and do not stay up late. Secondly, it is important to eat more high-protein foods, avoid cold and stimulating foods, avoid unhygienic foods, and avoid eating wild game. Then, refrain from sexual activity for up to 3 months and have regular checkups. The doctor said many precautions, and Ye Chen nodded occasionally to remember what the doctor said. At present, it's like this. You must pay more attention and wear loose clothes on a regular basis. The doctor said, then opened a few boxes of folic acid for Zhou Shuyi and said, all right, be careful when you go back. Thank you, doctor. Ye Chen led Zhou Shuyi away. At the entrance of the hospital. So. Should I go home first? Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen and hesitated for a moment before speaking up. Ding, detected the current situation of the host and made the following choices. Option 1. Send Zhou Shuyi home with a reward of 300,000 cash. Option 2. Take Zhou Shuyi home and reward the kitchen god skill. The system's prompt sound echoed in Ye Chen's mind. Faced with these two options, Ye Chen didn't pay special attention because Zhou Shuyi was already pregnant, so she definitely couldn't go back on her own. Going home. Are you not going back with me? Ye Chen looked at her and asked. Going back with you? Where are we going with you? Zhou Shuyi subconsciously said, is it a school? Ye Chen shook his head and chuckled, what are you doing at school? Of course you're going back to my house. Ding, congratulations to the host for making a choice and obtaining the kitchen god skill. After Ye Chen finished speaking, the sound of the system rang out again. Chapter 3. Take Zhou Shuyi home. Tang Chen Yipin. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ye Chen didn't care about the system's rewards, what he cares about now is Zhou Shuyi. Now Zhou Shuyi is pregnant with his child, although this is his second time meeting Zhou Shuyi. Ye Chen has been in this world for over 20 years and is still an orphan. He cherishes this situation very much now. Let's go home. Ye Chen took Zhou Shuyi's hand and said. After hearing Ye Chen's words, Zhou Shuyi felt an unprecedented sense of security in her heart, feeling the warmth emanating from her palm, which made her face slightly red. She blushed and dared not look at Ye Chen, so she could only reply, okay. So, Ye Chen took Zhou Shuyi to his home. And the direction is exactly the first grade of Tang Chen. The system has completely arranged all the procedures, only Ye Chen needs to check in. Half an hour later. Ye Chen brought Zhou Shuyi to the vicinity of Binjiang. What are we doing here? Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen and asked curiously, didn't she take her home? Go home. Ye Chen smiled slightly. Going home. Zhou Shuyi was stunned. Does Ye Chen still have a residence by the riverbank? Isn't Ye Chen living in an apartment provided by the Magic City University? Isn't this the edge of the Binjiang River? What are we doing here? Are we eating? Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen and asked. Of course not. Ye Chen smiled and said, it's going home. Going home. Is Ye Chen's home around here? Let's go. Ye Chen smiled slightly and walked directly towards Tang Chen Yipin with Zhou Shuyi. When Zhou Shuyi walked into the room, her whole body had not yet reacted. Tang Chen Yipin. Is Ye Chen the owner of Tang Chen Yipin? How could this be possible? Isn't he a professor at Mordo University? How could he be the owner of Thompson First Class? What's wrong? What's going on? Ye Chen looked at Zhou Shuyi in a daze and smiled. You. After hearing the sound, Zhou Shuyi reacted and said, are you actually the owner of Tangchen Yipin? And the area of this unit type should be about 597 m for the presidential suite in Building D, which is a top-level configuration standard. One set has already exceeded 1 billion. Even though she has been live streaming on her own for so many years, although she has some savings, she can't even afford to buy a top-tier house from Tang Chen. Now, Ye Chen is actually the owner. I'm surprised, right? Ye Chen looked at Zhou Shuyi and shook his head with a smirk. Are you really just a professor at Mordo University? Aren't you a second-generation wealthy person? Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen with a puzzled expression on her face and asked. Of course I'm not a wealthy second-generation. Ye Chen laughed a bit and said, you stay here today and move over tomorrow. Ah. Moving over. Upon hearing this, Zhou Shuyi's face slightly changed. You are pregnant now, it's inconvenient for you to live alone. Ye Chen said, besides, have you forgotten the doctor's instructions? Zhou Shuyi certainly remembers the doctor's instructions, and most importantly, she has only met Ye Chen for the second time now. Although I am pregnant, I will move over tomorrow to live with Ye Chen. Despite Zhou Jie's personality, I feel very embarrassed. Thinking of this, Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen's handsome face and her face turned slightly red. Well. Then, okay, she said after hearing Zhou Shuyi's answer. Ye Chen smiled on his face. Suddenly, at this moment, Ye Chen's phone vibrated. The phone screen displays the words, teacher. Ye Chen looked at Zhou Shuyi and said, you can take a break first, or go to the balcony to bask in the sun. I have something to deal with first. Zhou Shuyi nodded and then sat on the balcony sunbathing. Immediately, Ye Chen walked aside and answered the phone. Hello, teacher. After connecting, Ye Chen shouted. Ye Chen's teacher is also a professor at Mordo University and a heavyweight professor, who is very kind to Ye Chen. He was able to become a professor at the age of 24, thanks to the help of Professor Ye Chen. Xiaoye, is today's incident true? Professor Yu's voice rang out, this matter has already spread in Mordo University. Ye Chen was not surprised because he had long known that such a situation would happen, and he did not choose to hide it. "Teacher, this matter is true, I want to be a father." Professor Yu asked, "What exactly happened?" "The situation is like this." Ye Chen told Professor Yu the story of the incident. After speaking, the other end of the phone fell into silence. Ye Chen had some doubts and said, "Teacher, the matter has already happened, and I don't say much either." For a long time, Professor Yu's voice came. "Since the other girl is pregnant, you should treat her well." "Don't worry, teacher." Ye Chen smiled and said, "I will." "That's good." Professor Yu said, "I'll leave this matter to you. You don't have to worry. Also, remember to take her home for a meal when you have some time. Your teacher's mother also wants to see her." Ye Chen's heart warmed and he said, "Thank you, teacher. I'll go in a few days." "That's it, what should you do?" "Go ahead." After speaking, Professor Yu hung up the phone. On the other side, Zhou Shuyi's side also exploded. When she opened WeChat, 99+ messages were unread directly. Before Zhou Shuyi could read the news much, a video call popped up. Next, one was tall and had short hair, while the other was thin and had long hair. They are Zhou Shuyi's two stations, Shanana and Danbao. Fans generally refer to Shubao and Danbao. After Zhou Shuyi connected, she heard Shu Nana shouting, "Sleeping slot, what's the situation with the boss? Boss, do you know that the internet has exploded now? All the topics are around you. There are also live streaming rooms, where some people are crazily pacing." Egg Bao's voice followed. "Boss, are you really pregnant? Don't lie to us." After hearing this, Zhou Shuyi smiled helplessly and said, "I won't say anything, you should all know." Shu Nana and Dan Bao suddenly thought that a month ago, Zhou Shuyi suddenly found them. Isn't it? It's like a soul attack. Dan Bao couldn't help but say, "Boss, where are you now?" Zhou Shuyi said, "I'm at Ye Chen's house. You too, please don't come over. I'll send you a location and you two can help me call a moving company to bring back the live broadcast equipment first. You have the moving company pack the other things and move them over." After Zhou Shuyi finished speaking, Chuanai and Dan Bao were stunned. Two TV stations shouted in unison, "Isn't that right? Boss, are you going to live together now?" Zhou Shuyi said, "I couldn't explain clearly on the phone. You should follow what I just said." "Boss, we know now. Let's go pack up now." Zhou Shuyi nodded and then hung up the phone. Chapter 4. Heartbreak of Female Students at Magic City University, Wang Yi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mordo University. During the time when Ye Chen took Zhou Shuyi to the hospital for examination, the news had already spread on campus. "No, this can't be true, it must be spreading rumors. Professor Yi has been teaching at school and has never heard of him having a girlfriend. Professor Yi is such a good person, how could he possibly have a one-night stand with someone else and have children? You are slandering. All the students at Moda University are discussing this matter. However, more female students are a bit unable to accept it. Because their male god in their hearts is gone. In their eyes, Professor Yi was young and promising, becoming a professor at the age of 24, setting a record for the University of Magic. The most important thing is that people are handsome and have a humorous and witty speech. Every time Ye Chen gives a lecture, even if it's not an open class, the classroom is always crowded with people. Even some girls would rather stand in the hallway than come over to attend classes. For close contact with leaf dust. Professor Ye's popularity at Mordo University is no less than that of celebrities in the entertainment industry. I just keep a low profile and repeatedly emphasize that everyone should focus more on their studies, which is why I haven't organized support groups or anything like that. In the hearts of female students, Professor Yi is the male god. I cannot accept the sudden appearance of someone claiming to be pregnant with Professor Ye's child. Have you heard about Professor Yi? I really can't tell that Professor Yi, who usually looks serious, actually engages in one-night stands. I heard he's still a popular anchor, TSK, you can't judge a person by their appearance. In the teacher group, a young male teacher couldn't help but feel excited after hearing about it and started chatting in the group. Ye Chen, the youngest professor at Moda University. The dream lover of all girls, and also the enemy of all male classmates and teachers. For example, Wang Yi, who just messaged in the group, has long harbored resentment towards Ye Chen. It's said to be hatred, but in fact, it's more about jealousy. Ye Chen is young, handsome, and knowledgeable. Not only are female students infatuated with him, but even female teachers are very fond of him. Especially his goddess, teacher Wang Jing from the Performing Arts Department, is also one of Ye Chen's fans. Of course, being a teacher is much more restrained than those female students. I will not directly go to Ye Chen's classroom to scratch the surface, nor will I boldly express my love to Ye Chen and ask for his signature. But rather a more tactful strategy. Wang Yi has seen teacher Wang Jing pass by Ye Chen's office more than once, and intentionally or unintentionally engage with Ye Chen to find topics. Teacher Wang Jing was also a former department head of Magic City University, but after graduation, she stayed on campus and became a teacher. Although not as excellent as Ye Chen, she is also the goddess in the hearts of countless male classmates. Unexpectedly, he became Ye Chen's licking dog. Wang Yi went crazy with jealousy, but there was nothing he could do. I am just an ordinary teaching assistant, without even a formal professional title. Don't be fooled by Wang Jing's always intentionally or unintentionally creating opportunities to get along with Ye Chen, showing a very proactive attitude. In front of Wang Yi, he was cold and aloof, unwilling to even look at him directly. You can shut up, it's just that you have a lot to do. As soon as Wang Yi posted the message, it drew ridicule from the female teacher in the group. That's right, those students are not sensible, so it's okay to spread false information. As an adult, how can you just see the wind and rain? How can you teach and educate people, be a role model, just like you? Another female teacher also angrily said. The story of Ye Chen has already spread throughout the school, and of course they have also heard about it. Like female students, these teachers cannot believe that this is true. One by one, they are feeling angry and nowhere to breathe. At this moment, Wang Yi leaned in and happened to hit the muzzle of the gun. No wonder you're in your 20s, just a teaching assistant with no vision at all. Professor Yi is only 20.4 years old and already a professor. Take a look at you again. What qualifications do you have to say, Professor Yi? Are you qualified? Another female teacher was roaring hysterically in the office when she just dropped her beloved cup. Seeing Wang Yi dare to stir fire in the group, he immediately poured out his anger. You're going too far. It was Ye Chen who had a one-night stand, not me. Why are you all getting angry at me? It's really strange, this thing is clearly true, and many people have witnessed it with their own eyes. And I also told you that after coming out of the hospital, Ye Chen took Zhou Shuyi directly to his home. As for Tang Chen's first-class house, it can be considered a real blow now. Also, a professor lives in a house worth several hundred million yuan per grade owned by Tang Chen. Where did he get the money? I guess he took the money from his parents, right? Wang Yi was furious and threw out a photo directly. In the photo, Ye Chen opened the door with one hand and held Zhou Shuyi's hand with the other. The sunlight shone on his face, like an oil painting. The bright smile on Ye Chen's face was like a steel needle, piercing the nerves of the female teachers. The group instantly quieted down, and no one spoke for a long time. Wang Yi, you're following Professor Yi in taking photos. What do you want to do? Moreover, your subsequent statement is already defamatory. Are you a teacher at Motto University or a journalist for entertainment gossip magazines? I think you should resign on your own to avoid leaving any negative information on your resume. Wang Jing is truly a flower. She is beautiful and has a good brain, so she directly discovered the key points. The story of Ye Chen and Zhou Shuyi was passed down by the students until they left the teacher. How did Wang Yi know what happened after going to the hospital? Also took photos. Are you planning to sell them to gossip magazines, or are you planning to threaten Ye Chen? Those who can become teachers at Magic City University are all smart people, and they instantly understand what Wang Jing means. The entire teaching building has quieted down. It's terrifyingly quiet. The sweat on Wang Ye's head came down. I wanted to explain, but my throat was dry and I couldn't say a word. You go on your own, I don't want to see you here again tomorrow. Professor Yu gave a speech and made a decisive decision. Everyone knows that Professor Yu is Ye Chen's teacher, and they share the same affection as father and son. And Ye Chen is Professor Yu's greatest pride. Wang Yi spoke ill of Ye Chen behind his back and was caught on the spot. There is no good fruit to eat. You're good Ye Chen, you're causing me to miss the goddess and even causing me to lose my job. See if I don't expose your situation and ruin your reputation. Wang Yi was angry. He is just a teaching assistant and has no official position. Now that it has caused public anger, being fired is just a matter of one sentence. But this matter won't pass so easily. Wang Yi still has many photos of Ye Chen and Zhou Shuyi in his hand. As long as these photos are circulated, Wang Yi believes that people from both schools and the internet will punish Ye Chen. After all, Zhou Shuyi is not just an ordinary person, but one of Shark's most popular female anchors. Although Shui Yu always says that she has a regretful mouth, Zhou Shuyi still has many husband fans. As soon as this incident broke out, I pretended to unintentionally reveal Ye Chen's address. Ye Chen, I see if you will die or not. Chapter 5 Online Crazy Rumor. Zhou Shuyi is really pregnant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In an office at Mordo University, eyebrows furrowed tightly together. Professor Yu looked at the information in the chat box. This child is really not easy to worry about. It's inevitable for young people to have a momentary impulse. I'll go all out and talk to the hospital about this matter, and I can still handle it. But Tang Chen's first class house is worth over 1 billion yuan. Xiaoye shouldn't really have any shady things to do, right? Wang Ye's words just now made him very angry. Although he forcefully suppressed the situation, his intuition told him that there must be a follow-up to this matter. Ye Chen has a bright future and must not leave a stain on this matter. If you help cover up in school, you are afraid of any negative fishing boats in society. Nowadays, the internet is developed and not as advanced as before. After thinking for a long time, Professor Yu decided to use his network and dialed a certain phone number. Hello, Uncle Yu. A sweet voice came, appearing somewhat surprised. Bai Ying, it's like this. I have something I want to trouble you with. Professor Yu has been engaged in scientific research all his life and never likes to rely on connections or special situations. For the sake of Ye Chen, I can only grit my teeth today. No way. He doesn't have a son. Since Ye Chen appeared, he has treated him like a son. Now that Ye Chen has something to do, as a teacher, I naturally need to help. Uncle Yu, please don't be so polite. Just call me Xiao Bai. Do you have any orders? But whatever I can do, I will definitely die. Bai Ying is a reporter from the city and has been wanting to interview Professor Yu for an exclusive interview, but she couldn't reach an agreement despite many connections. Today, Professor Yu took the initiative to speak, but it excited Bai Ying for a moment. There's no need to die. It's like this, you know, I have a student named Ye Chen, who is also a professor at our Magic City University. He's currently facing something. Professor Yu was pondering his words, but as soon as he spoke, he mentioned the word anchor, and was interrupted by Bai Ying. What, did you say that the person who went to the hospital with Zhou Shuyi today is Professor Ye Chen? You don't know, this matter has gone viral online now. How can I tell you? Zhou Shuyi is a very popular anchor with many fans. The news of her pregnancy was like a bomb, shattering the entire live streaming industry. Nowadays, there is a lot of discussion about this matter online, and it's unexpected that it's Professor Yi. It's really unexpected. Upon hearing this, Wang immediately became excited. Balabala said that it took him a while to get up, but Professor Yu was on the other side, which was a bit awkward. Has it already spread? I would also like to ask for your help in eliminating the impact. Since that's the case, let's forget it. Professor Yu sighed and realized that his scientific research is not an old-fashioned pastime. Although not very familiar, it is still clear what internet celebrities are. Uncle Yu, you don't have to worry too much. This matter is not as scary as you imagine. It's normal for unmarried men and women to remain unmarried. Wang was quick-witted for a moment, saying a lot about what to say or not, and now she didn't know how to comfort her. Hang up the phone and start flipping through online comments. As a journalist, grasping the topic has almost become an instinct. Although not from an entertainment background, I have an intuition that this matter will definitely become a hot topic recently. The kind that's very explosive. In fact, the evolution of the matter was faster and more violent than Wang had imagined. She usually doesn't pay much attention to the anchor and doesn't know what Zhou Shuyi means in the live streaming industry. Zhou Shuyi entered the Magic City University. The mysterious person and Zhou Shuyi went to the hospital for prenatal checkups. Zhou Shuyi is pregnant. This is just a little bit of work. There are already several entries about Zhou Shuyi on the entire hot search. I don't know if it was due to the lockdown of Moda University or the spontaneous tacit understanding of the students, but Ye Chen's identity has not been exposed. Wang kept flipping through the comments of netizens, wanting to clear her mind. Suddenly, a message popped up and the entire forum fell silent. Hurry up, Sister Zhou is starting a live broadcast. At Ye Chen's house. Shu Nana and Egg Bao arrived at the door, carrying their belongings in small packages. Tang Yipin is truly a top-notch luxury mansion, and the moving company has passed several security checks upon entering. We need Ye Chen to personally confirm before releasing. Afterwards, the enthusiasm of the security guards immediately surged, and the people from the moving company had nothing to do. 7 or 8 security guards went alone and finished moving everything. To express gratitude, Ye Chen politely invited everyone to come inside and have a drink. But they were all rejected. Tang Yipin's property has strict regulations, and all security guards are veterans, with a fully military civilian management system. After putting down the things and confirming that there were no issues, I left directly. Wow, boss, this is too beautiful. I envy you so much, boss. Can we also move in? Shunana and Danbao helped install live streaming equipment while looking curiously at it. Although the income of the live streaming industry is objective, there is still a long way to go before billions of houses. Not to mention the two of them, even when Zhou Shuyi first arrived, she was also very confused. You move quite quickly. Zhou Shuyi was placed on the sofa by Ye Chen, asking her not to move around. I could only hold the fruit platter, cross my legs, and watch the two of them bustle around. Boss, you don't know, it's already going crazy online now. Hey, I don't know how to say it either. Do you really want to start live streaming now? Do you want to stop slowing down? Shu Nana installed the equipment, and the camera, radio, and lighting were all ready. Made. Ye Chen's house is big and tidy, decorated like a palace. There is no need to set up the background, just take a photo and use it as wallpaper. Open. Zhou Shuyi waved her hand indifferently. When Zhou Shuyi first realized that she might be pregnant, she was indeed a bit flustered. Especially when I first met Ye Chen Kai, something like this happened and I fell into my soul. If the other party doesn't acknowledge it, I have nothing to say. Unexpectedly, Ye Chen not only did not refuse at all, but also took himself to the hospital without hesitation. After confirming his pregnancy, he actually brought him directly to his home. This gave Zhou Shuyi an inexplicable sense of security. She is not afraid of anything now, any black person, any navy, just let her horse come over. She's Zhou Shuyi. There were many rooms in the house, and Ye Chen asked Xuanai and Danbao to put Zhou Shuyi's live streaming equipment in an empty room. In the future, it can also be used as Zhou Shuyi's work room. After getting ready, Zhou Shuyi directly opened the live broadcast. "Brothers, I'm here." Zhou Shuyi waved her hand and started directly with the fruit tray. "Sleeping trough, it's really Sister Zhou. Brothers, there's revenge, there's resentment. I dare to appear in person on this hot topic now, Sister Zhou is amazing. I thought it would be the second channel coming out to clarify. So rigid, worthy of being Sister Zhou." At the beginning of the live broadcast, various barrages rolled up, mostly old water enthusiasts who rushed in as soon as they saw the live broadcast. "Why can't I appear in person? Isn't it just pregnancy? It's not something shameful. My mother got pregnant, what's going on?" At the beginning of the live broadcast, Sister Zhou was immediately full of vitality and prepared to take action. "The doctor said to make you less irritable and obedient." At the moment of excitement, Ye Chenjuan's face appeared in the live broadcast room, and with a big press, she pushed Zhou Jia back directly. Chapter 6. Silent Sister Zhou pairs up Ye Chen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh, I got it. Zhou Shuyi looked up at Ye Chen and her face turned red. He lowered his head and hugged a pillow in his arms, then remained silent. Ye Chen's big hand rubbed Zhou Shuyi's head, smiled, and turned to leave. Zhou Shuyi pressed her chin against the pillow, her mouth curling up uncontrollably. Although she met Ye Chen Kai for the second time, Zhou Shuyi's heart was not like this. Now it looks like a little girl who is deeply in love and unable to extricate herself. Sleeping trough, the main character has appeared. You're too handsome, and your temperament is also good. It's a bit of a talented man and beautiful woman. If you only look at your face, it's worthy of Miss Zhou. Sister Zhou, who doesn't speak, is okay, but I think Sister Zhou, who has a long mouth, is a bit arrogant. Originally, Sister Zhou likes to dominate the CEO. Look at how he looked just now, Sister Zhou just softened. Is Zhou blushing now, brothers? I'm blind. It's the first time I've seen Sister Zhou like this, isn't it too stunning? I'm getting sore. I always thought that Sister Zhou, who was quiet, was very upset, but I didn't expect that Sister Zhou, who has softened, is also very upset. Sugar has gone out, sugar has gone out. Ye Chen appeared confidently in the live broadcast room, without any pretense or concealment, and even waved his hand to greet the water enthusiasts. Ye Chen is young and handsome, with a generous and outgoing personality. The water enthusiasts began to praise each other in the barrage, and the atmosphere was not as fierce as they had imagined, but unexpectedly harmonious. Shunana and Danbao glanced at each other and breathed a sigh of relief quietly. What do you mean, I'm not worthy of him anymore? I'm Sister Zhou. Zhou Shuyi quietly turned her head and noticed that Ye Chen was not paying attention here. She proudly straightened her chest, indicating that she was also very knowledgeable. Those who can come in at the beginning of the live broadcast room are old fans. Just like old friends who have known each other for many years, chatting with these people is also the most relaxing time for Zhou Shuyi. However, as the news of the start of the live broadcast spread, the popularity of the live broadcast room skyrocketed at an exaggerated rate. In just over 10 minutes, the popularity has already surpassed 10,000. Zhou Shufen's popularity is also very high during her live broadcasts, but it's not as fast as today. Zhou Shuyi herself has a clear understanding of the reasons behind it. Sure enough. With the surge in popularity, the atmosphere in the barrage is no longer as harmonious as before. We like you so much, gave you so many gifts, and you secretly got pregnant like this. Do you deserve us? You scammer. Yesterday during the live broadcast, I was still working on it. Today, I suddenly claimed to be pregnant, deceiving our relationship. Scammer, cut vermicelli, and leaks. All the anchors are the same. Today, they set up a single persona, scammed gifts, and tomorrow they dare to jump out and say they are pregnant. You keep saying that everyone is brothers, bah. Looking at the barrage in front of her, Zhou Shuyi's face was no longer as beautiful as before. Despite maintaining professional ethics, I still maintain a polite smile. It is obvious that the smile has become a bit stiff. Shu Nana's egg treasure kept watching from the side, and the scene before him was expected, and he was mentally prepared. The content in the barrage still made them very worried that Zhou Shuyi would not be able to bear it. Zhou Shuyi is pregnant now and cannot be stimulated. The two of them stood behind the camera, gesturing incessantly, wanting to go up and down first. Zhou Shuyi shook her head slightly. Those who should come always come, even if they can avoid the first day of junior high school, they cannot avoid the 15th day. Since Zhou Shuyi has decided to live stream, she is already prepared to face all of this directly. I've been with sharks for so long, I haven't seen any big winds or waves. This small matter is not enough to let Zhou Shuyi break through the defense. Zhou Shuyi, you scammer. Deceiving our emotions. I give you gifts every day, and I give you every month's salary except for food and rent. Are you treating me like this now? I've given you so many gifts that you don't even want to say a word more to me. But now suddenly you say you're pregnant, do you deserve me? His mother, refund. Brother, you're going too far. The gift is something you are willing to brush yourself with, no one is forcing you. Can't someone else's anchor fall in love or get married? The words in the barrage became increasingly excessive, and some even started to beat the rhythm, wanting to delete the sign and leave. Some old fans couldn't bear to watch and started to retaliate in the barrage. But the result seemed to provoke a hornet's nest, and a group of sailors surged out. Since I came out to make money through live streaming, I shouldn't hide it from my fans. Being single and secretly getting pregnant is a scammer. Big scammer, get out of the shark, get out of the live streaming circle. Strongly demand a ban. As soon as the Navy emerges, the barrage rolls directly onto the screen. I can't see anything others say, and the screen is filled with words like scammer and get out. Brother, I really didn't know you rewarded me with all your money. Thank you very much for liking me, and I am also very sorry for any harm caused to you. So, you can send me a private message later and tell me how much money you gave me as a reward, and I'll transfer it back to you. I'll say it again, everyone likes and supports me. I, Zhou Shuyi, would like to express my sincere gratitude. As the saying goes, everyone must act within their means. Don't affect your life for me. Zhou Shuyi ignored the black man in the live broadcast room directly, but the person who just spoke does have a brand. Although tipping the anchor was originally voluntary, Zhou Shuyi never asked for gifts or guided consumption in the live broadcast room. Everyone is an adult, and everyone should take responsibility for their own choices. When giving tips to the anchor, B asked you to finish the installation, and now he wants to get the money back. There is no such good thing. However, Zhou Shuyi saw that the other party was speaking with sincerity and decided to help him. After all, it's not easy for everyone. Pooh, disgusting. You have the ability to refund all the fans' money. Do this kind of thing, just find someone to refund a little money and want to whitewash it. You're just fools. Where's that little white face? Let him come out. Live streaming to make money, if you've had enough fun, take care of your little white face. I don't know whose it belongs to, but I can't hide it. I found a receiver. Tell the spider to come out. At a young age, it's not good to do something. Just learn from others and become a little white-faced, or take over the game, but at first glance, it's not promising. I'm sure it's because Zhou Jie's live broadcast became popular and she earned a lot of money. She came to hug her thighs and eat a soft meal. Such a person will never achieve anything in their lifetime, so they can only survive by eating soft food. I see his face is also whole. Is a man who eats soft food still considered a man? No hope, soft rice man. Zhou Shuyi kindly refunded the money, but this group of people not only did not appreciate it, but the barrage became even more vicious. Keyboardists have no limits and can say anything. Let's forget about the rest. Seeing someone slander Ye Chen for being a little white-faced and a soft eater, Zhou Shuyi became anxious on the spot. If the doctor doesn't let her emotions get excited, regardless of her pregnancy. Zhou Shuyi slapped the table directly, stood up with an unpleasant expression, ready to start cursing. Chapter 7. Zhou Shuyi curses loudly and speaks sincerely. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who is behind me to blackmail me? There's a way to stand up. Since I opened a video as a streamer, I expected it to be today. It doesn't matter what you say about me. But you can't say, my husband, ... What is little white face, and takeover hero, ... My Zhou Shuyi is looking for her husband, so I need you to talk nonsense later on. Is it a persona to say that I have a single persona? Is it a persona to say that you are single? Yes, I'm pregnant now, but I'm being generous and serious about dating, can't I? I fell in love at first sight, can't I? Who dares to say a bad word about my husband in my live broadcast room again and directly ban the package arrangement? Zhou Shuyi burst into a frenzy, and the entire live broadcast room fell silent. Everyone didn't expect that Blackie and Shui Jun had said so many outrageous things before, but Zhou Shuyi didn't express it. She said a little white-faced and ate a soft meal, but directly let her break through the defense. Zhou Shuyi stared, both aggrieved and angry. What's wrong with just meeting someone you like? What if I get pregnant? Isn't the anchor human anymore? Can't we start dating, get married, and have children? I finally met someone I liked, although there were some twists and turns in the process, which led to my unexpected pregnancy. Ye Chen not only did not shirk any responsibility, but also avoided it. Instead, he took the initiative to take himself to the hospital for examination and even took himself home to take care of. In this era where scumbags are rampant, shouldn't I bless myself for meeting such a handsome and responsible man? I persist in live streaming every day, bringing joy to everyone. Water friends call themselves brothers all day long and get along like a family. I am fortunate to have met true love and become pregnant with a baby. Shouldn't water enthusiasts be happy for me? Those black spots and navy are also considered. Why do so many old water enthusiasts also criticize themselves? Let's just curse me Zhou Shuyi, why don't even Ye Chen be spared? As the youngest professor at Magic City University, Ye Chen disregarded his promising future and directly admitted to his relationship with him. How much pressure does this require? At that time, Professor Yu called and Zhou Shuyi heard Ye Chen call out the words, teacher, in her own ear. Ye Chen didn't say a word about the specific conversation content. But Zhou Shuyi is not foolish. Even if Ye Chen didn't say it, she could still guess. Zhou Shuyi remembered all of this in her heart and was deeply moved. Others misunderstood Ye Chen and let it go. Why would the water friends in their own live broadcast room also say such things? Zhou Shuyi was really sad this time, tears couldn't stop flowing down. Shu Nana quietly handed over a pack of tissues, and Zhou Shuyi's tears became more and more fierce as she wiped them away. That's too much. You black guys, can you get rough? I don't want to see anyone plead with you. It's really excessive to say that about a girl. Old water enthusiasts couldn't bear to watch and began to criticize the malicious barrage. Unfortunately, there are too few people, it's just a drop in the bucket. The Navy is all professional gangsters, and once they take money, they have to do things. Although I feel that my words are indeed excessive, the employer has no choice but to demand them that way. I can only disregard my conscience and continue to emit malicious barrage, attempting to create a rhythm. At this moment, a barrage suddenly popped up. User, Daisy Girl, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *1, user, Daisy Girl, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *2, user, Daisy Girl, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *5, thank you, Mr. Dai, for your super rocket. What are you doing here? Zhou Shuyi saw the conditioned reflex of the super rocket and realized that the other person was a silly little girl after finishing it. Miss Zhou's wave has become real in the world. I admire Sister Zhou's ability to quickly change her face. Stupid little girl, come up here for 10,000 yuan, grand. 666 How dare you come here to reward me at this time? Good sisters, stone hammer. The scene of being amused by Sister Zhou in the live broadcast room warmed up the atmosphere, especially the silly girl's wave of rewards, which temporarily restrained the black guys. Daixia is a popular female anchor at the same level as Zhou Shuyi, and her popularity is comparable to that of Zhou Shuyi. In this era where traffic is money, many people have no lower limit for traffic. Especially in the anchor circle where traffic is king, there is fierce competition between the public and the private. As soon as the pregnancy of Zhou Shuyi was exposed, countless anchors and the capital behind it seemed to smell the smell of blood like a shark. They immediately mobilized all their energy and hired a large number of sailors to bring the rhythm. Once the emotions of water enthusiasts are stirred up, they can often do many extreme things. At this time, the normal reaction of other anchors should be to set aside their relationship with Zhou Shuyi in order to avoid getting into trouble. Unexpectedly, the top popular anchor Daixia not only did not avoid suspicion, but also became a 5-rocket super rocket. This is a very stubborn behavior. This naked support instantly won the favor of true water enthusiasts. Zhou Shuyi had just broken through the defense and was crying, but her emotions were also broken by the silly girl. While sobbing and wiping away tears, I connected to the live broadcast room of the silly girl. Zhou Jie, where are you now? I just went to your house and nobody answered the phone. Tree Nana and Egg Treasure are not here either. Are you okay? Is there anyone around you? Is it safe to be with someone? As soon as de Xiaomei's live broadcast room was connected, she came up with a barrage of inquiries. I almost wrote the word, care, on my face. I went to the hospital before, but my phone turned off and I forgot to turn it on. I'm fine, I'm at my husband's house. Zhou Shuyi paused for a while and her emotions stabilized. Picking up my phone and seeing more than a dozen silly girls missing, my heart warmed and I showed an apologetic expression. It's all my fault. If it weren't for my suggestion of a big adventure that day, it wouldn't have happened. It's all my fault that's causing you to be like this now. Don't take it to heart, don't take it too hard. Upon hearing about Zhou Shuyi's pregnancy being exposed, Dai Xiaomei was stunned on the spot. The two of them haven't known each other for a day or two. Zhou Shuyi doesn't even have a boyfriend, how could she get pregnant? After much thought, it's only the big adventure at the bar before. The little girl rushed to Zhou Shuyi's house as soon as possible, but there was no one around. The phone was all over and nobody answered. At this moment, I heard that Zhou Shuyi had started a live broadcast, so I quickly went home and opened the live broadcast equipment, heading straight to Zhou Shuyi's live room. After seeing that Zhou Shuyi was fine, the little girl finally let go of her heart that had been hanging around for a long time. It's okay, I'm fine now. Actually, I don't blame you at all. Instead, I want to thank you. If it weren't for you, I might not have the courage to approach him, so I wouldn't have known him. On that day, when I first saw him, I was a bit excited. I deliberately lost just because you suggested a big adventure. Zhou Shuyi began to recall her experience of building a team at the bar that day. Thinking of Ye Chen's tall figure and the gentle light shining on his side face, his heart couldn't help but accelerate a bit. Chapter 8 Ye Chen. Originally, it was love at first sight for me. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Outside the room. Ye Chen is preparing lunch for Zhou Shuyi using the culinary god skills rewarded by his own system. From school to hospital, and then from hospital to Ye Chen's home. After all the fuss, it was already past lunch. If it had been before, Ye Chen would have eaten in the cafeteria of Moda University. But now that Zhou Shuyi is pregnant and his child is Ye Chen, eating has become a top priority. Don't worry about going out to eat or ordering takeout. Fortunately, even Ye Chen, who has never played in the kitchen before, can still find joy in the culinary god skill that comes with systematic rewards. Suddenly, a sound of forceful tapping on the table came from Zhou Shuyi's room. Ye Chen quickly put down his work and rushed over. It's strange to say. Overall, today is just the second time the two have met. It should have been very awkward. I don't know why, maybe it's because of eye contact. Ye Chen didn't feel any discomfort. Actually, I went to a bar to drink that day. He went with several other professors from Mordo University to discuss issues related to the paper. Ye Chen never forgets, although young, he has achieved remarkable academic achievements. Otherwise, he wouldn't have become a professor at Mordo University at the age of 24. Other social events can be pushed as much as possible. This time, an exception was made because there was a senior fellow student who was also a professor. Ye Chen usually doesn't drink much, but he still has a good tolerance for alcohol. When Zhou Shuyi came over that day, Ye Chen had only had 2 drinks, but somehow he felt a bit confused. Perhaps this is why wine doesn't intoxicate people, people get drunk on their own. Ye Chen stood at the door of Zhou Shuyi's room, hearing her reminiscing about the day with a crying voice, and a smile couldn't help but curl up on her lips. I was originally a bit puzzled, how could I have met Zhou Shuyi? My feelings were trapped. Love at first sight for oneself. This can be considered the first confession between the two, although it was a bit late. The doctor said, I don't want you to get emotional, what's wrong? Ye Chen pushed open the door and walked in, naturally embracing Zhou Shuyi's shoulder and whispering in her ear, it's okay. Zhou Shuyi, who was originally still irritable, immediately calmed down when she saw Ye Chen. Hello, I'm Ye Chen. Could you please take care of my Shuyi? Although he is not clear about the specific operation of the live broadcast, he can tell what happened at a glance at the barrage. From the conversation I heard at the door, it seems that Xiaomi is one of Zhou Shuyi's best friends. Today, by saying hello, we can officially get to know each other. Hello brother.in.law, my name is Xiaomi. The silly girl greeted her obediently. I only took a glance from a distance before, but today I saw Ye Chen up close for the first time, and I had a feeling of not daring to look directly at him. Sorry everyone, we went to the hospital today and haven't eaten yet. As we all know, Shuyi has just become pregnant, so we shouldn't be too tired or hungry. Let's have a meal later and have Shuyi chat with everyone in the afternoon. Thank you. Ye Chen said to the camera, then lowered his head and whispered to Zhou Jia, let's chat for a while and come out. The food will be ready soon. Got it. Zhou Shuyi shyly lowered her head and let out a sigh before speaking again. Normally lawless and fearless, Sister Zhou blushed like a big apple, her head almost hanging on the ground. What I just said must have been heard by Ye Chen. It's too embarrassing. How can I face Ye Chen in the future? Moreover, Ye Chen is Ye Chen, both in personality and speech, highlighting Ye Chen's extraordinary temperament. A man who truly falls in love with me at first sight. Zhou Shuyi looked at Ye Chen and thought this way. Ye Chen smiled and greeted the silly little girl, then rubbed Zhou Shuyi's head and turned around to go out. For some reason, Ye Chen likes to touch Zhou Shuyi's head and looks at her slightly embarrassed expression. Sister Zhou, is this the one? This is too handsome, isn't it? Is he personally cooking for you to eat? So sweet. So envious. The silly girl looked at Ye Chen with envy. All girls, who hasn't fantasized about their own Prince Charming? But why does sweet love always happen to others? When will it be my turn? The little girl's teeth were sore with envy. You old woman, go envy me. You only have envy left. Zhou Shuyi saw Ye Chen go out and immediately resurrected with full blood. However, considering being warned twice and not daring to be too lively, I still sat obediently on the sofa. User, PDD, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *5 User, PDD, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *5 User, Decima, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *5 User, Tuanzi, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *5 User, Jishuan, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *5 User, Nanbor, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *5 User, Pineapple, gives anchor Zhou Shuyi Super Rocket *5. The silly girl was envious of Zhou Shuyi finding such a good boyfriend when suddenly the barrage in the live broadcast room floated up. All of them were super rockets. A super rocket costs 2,000 yuan, and just this wave of gifts alone, Zhou Shuyi received around 100,000 yuan. All the tips are from top-tier popular anchors. Each anchor has a 5-star foundation. This wave directly helped Zhou Shuyi suppress the scene. No matter how hard Blackie in the navy below try to fire barrage and rhythm, it's useless. Everyone ignored them and was discussing the friendship between Zhou Shuyi and these anchors. Zhou Jie's face is full of first-line anchors. Shark's most popular anchor, not to mention all of them, at least half of them have come. The whole Shark, besides my sister Zhou, who else is there? Zhou Jie. Not a single one can fight. Isn't Zhou's high popularity enough to explain the problem? I advise you guys to wash up and sleep quickly. The barrage in the live broadcast room suddenly drifted up. Many sunspots use rhythm to create a sense of rhythm, and their words become more and more excessive. Water enthusiasts have long been unable to keep up with it. Now there are so many frontline anchors coming to help support the show, and their confidence has come up in no time. Spray these black spots all over your body. It was these anchors who went to the bar with Zhou Shuyi that day, and were considered witnesses to the event. Like the silly girls, they were very nervous when they heard about Zhou Shuyi's incident, fearing that something might happen. Fortunately, I heard that the live broadcast has started, so come over quickly to provide support. Thank you for the super rocket from Teacher Piao, thank you for Teacher Ma's super rocket, thank you for Xia Jishuan's super rocket, thank you for Popo's super rocket. Thank you all. Zhou Shuyi's current state has also recovered, and she is very happy to see all her friends stand up to support her. It's rare for everyone to connect together, when a voice full of grievances rang out. I've also become super popular, Zhou Jie, why don't you thank me? Forget it, I'll make 5 more super hits, so my love for Sister Zhou will be twice as much as theirs. I love Sister Zhou so much. The pineapple pouted its mouth and began to play tricks as usual. She is Zhou Shuyi's good sisters, just like Daishao. Daxiaomi and Zhou Shuyi are daily enemies, while Pineapple is daily licking. He often claims to be Zhou Shuyi's licking dog and takes pride in being the first licking dog. Damn it. I won't thank you if you brush 10 more super fires. You must die of this heart. Zhou Shuyi was moved when she saw everyone coming to support her, but her style couldn't be lost. Why are you only criticizing me and not others? You still love me, right? You see, you only criticize me and don't criticize anyone else. Pineapple didn't care at all, still openly licking it, still licking it hard. The entire live broadcast room was amused by the two people. Get out of here. Zhou Shuyi was also happy. This pineapple is really amazing. Busy for half a day, my emotions fluctuated greatly. Now that the dust has finally settled, Zhou Shuyi is preparing to turn off the live broadcast and go out for dinner when suddenly Xuanai approaches. Boss, something's wrong. Someone is causing trouble behind the scenes, spending money to buy a hot search, saying they want to expose your boyfriend's identity. Now the whole internet is guessing who has a child with the boss and wants human flesh on him. P.S. Is this book still widely read by readers? If so, could you please make a comment in the book review please? Thank you. Chapter 9. Wang Ye's Revenge, News Exposes Ye Chen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Heizi and Shuiyu in the live broadcast room also received instructions and began to post various barrage comments about Ye Chen's identity. Especially when Ye Chen appeared again just now, his handsome appearance seemed to further reinforce Xiao Bai's words. Although Ye Chen's temperament is outstanding and his behavior is appropriate. At first glance, it's not an ordinary person. After all, Zhou Shuyi is a big anchor for sharks and also has some admiring fans. It's very uncomfortable for these people to suddenly announce that the famous flower has a owner. If it's really a wealthy second generation, it's okay. After all, they have strength and cannot compete for it themselves. How can one bear to see such a small white face who is eating a soft meal now? Although most water enthusiasts still have a relatively calm mindset. Even if it's a fan of Zhou Shuyi's husband, it's just a matter of daydreaming in my heart and I don't really think I can get together with Zhou Shuyi. Under the instigation of numerous gangsters and sailors in the live broadcast room, even husband fans are inevitably experiencing emotional changes. They also want to know who Ye Chen is. Why can he hold on to a beautiful woman and reap both fame and fortune? Under this emotional influence, the direction of the wind in the live broadcast room gradually changed. The number of people who criticize Blackie is decreasing. Heizi and the Navy began to become rampant again. Even with jokes from anchors such as Silly Girls, Nanbua, Tuanzi, and Pineapple, the effect is still not ideal. Mordo University. Wang Yi finished packing his things, holding a cardboard box, and reluctantly left his office where he had been working for 3 years. It's like turning back 3 times at a time, 3 steps and 1 bitterness. Wang Yi put a lot of effort into finding a teaching assistant at the talented Magic City University. He is a local and his family's conditions are quite good, with several companies at home. Although the scale is not very large, it can still be considered as a second-generation wealthy individual. In order to leave a good impression of self-reliance on the mentor. Since his freshman year, Wang Yi has cut off ties with his family and no longer asks for a penny from them. He, who has been pampered since childhood, cannot really go out to work. So I invited a few classmates to work part-time at my own company. Wang Yi came to act as an intermediary, taking over all the work, and after handing it over to the company, he also paid the salary. By doing so, the relationship between classmates was established and self-reliance was successfully achieved, which can be described as killing 2 birds with 1 stone. In addition, whenever there is time, one also needs to run to the supervisor's office. Not asking questions, but helping with cleaning and tidying up books. That's called diligence. Wang Yichang is so big that he has never been so devoted to his own father. Hard work pays off to those who have a heart. Wang Yi himself had good grades, was diligent and sweet-mouthed, and successfully won the favor of his mentor. After graduation, I stayed on campus smoothly and became an assistant to my supervisor. This time, Wang Ye's deeds exploded in the circle of classmates. Those who can be admitted to the University of Magic are all top students in the country. It is not an exaggeration to say that at least half of the top scorers in the National College Entrance Examination are from Magic City University. The rest are also the tips in the tip-pulling process. This kind of student quality is unique in the country. But that's it. Every year, many students are discouraged or retaken due to failing their studies. Like some second- or third-rate universities, once admitted, it is equivalent to graduation. Students start slacking off and waiting to die from their freshman year. I either fall in love or play games all day, and I don't care about my studies at all. This situation does not even exist at the University of Magic. Entering the University of Magic is just the beginning of the learning phase. Someone has calculated that from freshman to senior year graduation, students need to stack their textbooks up to nearly 2 meters high. There is a saying circulating among students at Mado University. Persuading people to learn medicine is like thunder and lightning. It's better to study medicine than to come to the Magic City. The rigorous education offered by Mado University corresponds to the fact that once successfully graduated, it would become a scarce top talent in various industries across the country and even the world. No matter where you go, you are recognized as an elite. Salary starts at 7 figures. It is already very difficult to graduate smoothly from the University of Magic. Only the most outstanding individuals are eligible to apply for school retention. As for whether it succeeds or not, it still depends on the opinions of the mentor. Of course, demons like Ye Chen, who not only stayed on campus smoothly but also obtained a doctoral title at the age of 24, are not comparable to ordinary people. Wang Yi has been able to successfully stay on campus and become a teaching assistant, which is already very outstanding. Defeated 99% of the students in the school. This is also what Wang Yi is most proud of. It has been widely spread among classmates, friends, and relatives. Everyone is proud of Wang Yi. Everything was going smoothly originally, but as long as it goes on like this, Wang Yi will have a chance to become a regular after enduring for 7 or 8 years. From being a teaching assistant, I officially became an intern teacher at Mado University. At that time, we will reach the sky with one step and achieve great success. It's not worth any money to be rich in the second generation of Modu. How many teachers are there at Kemadu University? This is a matter of honoring our ancestors. Not only Wang Yi, but also his parents and relatives have been boasting for several years. But now everything is over. Wang Yi walked to the entrance of the Magic University, but his feet seemed to be rooted and he couldn't move at all. Why? Why is it that after more than 6 years of hard work, regardless of whether it's winter or summer, my mentor refuses to say a good word for me despite being diligent and hardworking? Just because I said a bad word about Ye Chen. Not right. I didn't speak ill of him. I am telling the truth, it is a fact. I did not wrongly accuse him. He did something shameful himself, why can't he say it? Wang Ye's eyes were wide open, and his teeth were about to bite. Looking at the door in front of me, which has been in and out for over 6 years, I am unable to take any steps. I will never come back after going out this time. Wang Yi blamed everything on Ye Chen. Looking at the photo on my phone, I hesitated several times and finally dialed the phone for a certain magazine. Shocked, a professor from Mado University unexpectedly had a one-night stand with a popular anchor. The professor at Mado University behaved recklessly and the origin of his huge wealth is unknown. Enter the University of Magic and Professor Yi. The magazine that received Wang Ye's revelations did not immediately shake out the strong news, but chose to brew a wave. They checked Ye Chen's information. I found out that he spoke like Wang Yi and was the youngest professor in the history of Magic City University. I can become a professor at the age of 24, and I also bought a villa at Thompson First Class. The editor who received the leak immediately felt that there must be something fishy inside. He has been exposed to this circle for years and knows how deep the water inside is. In order to maximize profits and attract as much attention as possible, the editor recruited the editor-in-chief, applied for funding, and spent a lot of money to buy the hot search. And contact the Navy to create a buzz online. The anchors who heard the news quickly contacted the editor. Everyone needs to communicate with each other, and all naval forces have the same caliber. We need to play a big game. I only knew about Zhou Shuyi before, but I didn't expect it to involve a professor from Mado University. If we start arguing about the heat, how much traffic will we have to gain if we explode the excitement? People were extremely excited, rubbing their hands and closely monitoring the development of the situation. When many top-tier internet celebrities stood up to support Zhou Shuyi's live broadcast room, they laughed. The more people support Zhou Shuyi, the greater the flip it will cause in the future. the greater the benefit for oneself. After the blackheads and navy in Zhou Shuyi's live broadcast room were completely suppressed, especially Pineapple had already started to fight Zhou Shuyi. These people finally feel that the time has come. So the shocking news exploded instantly. Once Ye Chen's identity was announced, it shocked everyone's eyes. Chapter 10. Spray Leaf Dust. Someone has arrived at the University of Magic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In Zhou Shuyi's live broadcast room, the barrage area has completely fallen. Everyone was shocked by Ye Chen's identity. Ye Chen is actually a professor at Magic City University. A 24-year-old professor, did I hear him right? I've really blinded my dog's eyes. I'm 24 years old and haven't graduated yet. He's already a professor. Has Mado University, as the highest institution of education, now succumbed to reality? What kind of hard background and capital is it that can make Mado University make concessions and award a 24-year-old wealthy young master the title of professor? Not an honorary professor, but a serious professor who teaches. I really feel unworthy of the students at Mado University. After studying hard for more than a decade and squeezing out so many people on the single plank bridge of the college entrance examination, I finally got into the highest university and had to attend classes for such people. I heard it's very difficult to obtain credits from Mado University. If I were to be stuck again by this professor who pretends to understand. No wonder, I heard that there is a villa under Ye Chen's name, which is worth billions of yuan. What? Tang Chen's first-class villa. It's not just worth hundreds of millions, it's not even worth a few hundred million. Is it because of the wealthy second generation that the professor became, or after becoming a professor, the wealthy second generation became? Do you think it's a scam on students' money? That's hundreds of millions, students don't have that much money. The layout is too small. They are professors and receive national research funding every year. Thinking carefully is extremely frightening. I don't know what academic fraud is and where to report it. Call 400, thank you. The Navy had already obtained the information, and the caliber was highly unified. In no time, all the information about Ye Chen revealed by Wang Yi was shaken out. And there is also a trend of guiding the flames of war towards the University of Magic. Stupid girls, pineapples, and other anchors are all dumbfounded. They are good at playing games, but when it comes to discussing the topic of the highest education institution, they don't understand either. The Navy had already aligned their lines and said them one by one. After seeing it, the water enthusiast who didn't know the truth actually believed it. Many people are calling the reporting hotline, demanding strict investigation into the origin of Ye Chen's professor title and possible academic fraud issues, and demanding the disclosure of income statements and assets under his name. Is there a house of Tang Chen's first grade? The entire live broadcast room has completely lost control. Originally, Haizi and Shui Jun were targeting Zhou Shuyi, and she had already been mentally prepared after experiencing numerous battles. Before starting the live broadcast, I had already considered various possible situations and countermeasures. Now the war has spread to Ye Chen and Modu University, causing Zhou Shuyi to lose her temper. I stayed in front of the barrage for a long time, not knowing what to say. I dare not turn off the live broadcast. If it's just for oneself, turn it off. This part of the Navy cannot go to other live broadcast rooms to bring their own rhythm. But now the relationship between Ye Chen and Zhou Shuyi is a bit uncertain. Pay attention. What if it causes trouble or negative impact on Ye Chen? Ye Chen is a professor at Magic City University. What a bright future awaits him. If this is destroyed, how should we face him? Zhou Shuyi was completely panicked and indecisive, unsure of what to do. Outside, Ye Chen prepared the rice and set it on the dining table. Just as I was about to pick up the cutlery, my phone suddenly beeped and a message popped up to remind me. Ye Chen doesn't like useless communication, and only a few people know his phone number. Open it up and see that it was sent by my colleague, teacher Wang. The incident between herself and Zhou Shuyi was exposed online and has now caused a lot of controversy. Some even exposed their information and reported their professor title and unknown sources of their huge wealth. Thank you, I understand. Ye Chen replied with a message and casually put down his phone, without even taking it to heart. My professor title was personally approved by the principal, and I have published multiple papers in international journals, even winning awards. The goods are genuine and not afraid of inspection. As for Tang Chen's first-grade house, there is no need to worry. If the system rewards something that still cannot withstand investigation, then there is nothing that can withstand investigation. At this moment, Ye Chen suddenly remembered the sound of tapping the table from Zhou Shuyi's room just now. Is it fortunately, I have the ability to never forget. Close your eyes and reminisce briefly. When I entered the room before, bullet comments began to appear one by one in the live broadcast room. Although not frequently exposed to live streaming, it is still easy to understand what these bullet comments mean. Quickly, Ye Chen sorted out the ins and outs of the matter. It seems that Zhou Shuyi's fame and influence are greater than she imagined. However, it's also good, only in this way can we demonstrate the other party's excellence. However, these online comments do not require too much attention at all. Ye Chen carefully arranged the utensils, got up and walked to the door. He gently knocked 3 times, waited for 2 seconds, and then pushed open the door. Don't talk nonsense, okay? Zhou Shuyi is working hard to help Ye Chen clarify. Upon hearing the sound of the door opening, Ye Chen came in with a hint of panic on his face. Zhou Shuyi doesn't want Ye Chen to see the content of the live broadcast room. I don't want this hard-earned happiness to face any waves and dangers. Didn't I tell you to chat for a while and come out? The meal is already ready, let's go eat. Ye Chen glanced at the live streaming page as if he hadn't seen the barrage, picked up Zhou Shuyi's hand and walked out. Hey, wait a minute, I haven't turned off my live broadcast yet. Zhou Shuyi wanted to struggle but couldn't bear to let go, so she could only shout from behind. Keep it on, I think it's quite lively inside. It's okay, don't worry. Ye Chen replied, saying that he had seen the barrage. Okay. Zhou Shuyi could only nod as she looked at Ye Chen's expression. Then I followed Ye Chen to have dinner. This is too exaggerated, so much. Zhou Shuyi looked at the table full of dishes, even 10 people couldn't finish it. This is a nutritious meal that I specially prepared for you. Try it out to see if it suits your taste. Ye Chen smiled as a new change appeared in the live broadcast room. Zhou Shuyi was pulled away, and Tree Nana and Egg Treasure temporarily topped the roof. Unfortunately, the barrage has completely fallen, and no one listens to what they say. It's all crazy and rhythmic. And the popularity of the live broadcast room is still skyrocketing, causing the two of them to dare not shut down the live broadcast at all. Just when the two were helpless, a magical scene appeared. My classmates from Moda University are here. Do you guys know who you're spraying? Professor Yi is also something you can slander. Do you know what it means to be granted the professorship at the age of 24 on an exceptional basis? Professor Yi published a paper before graduating and was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Biology. Do you know how much gap he filled in the fields of bacteriology and virology? Do you know how great a breakthrough has been made in cancer-targeted drugs because of Professor Ye's discovery? How many people who were tormented by illness were rescued as a result? Do you dare to smear such people? Do you want to betray your country? The barrage of students from the University of Magic came out, and the entire live broadcast room fell silent.